Good morning, everybody. This is Trader Steve. It's Saturday morning, May 24th, Memorial Weekend, and this is a weekend update. We've had about a 7-week run up from the lows, from the tariffs, and I'm going to walk you through the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour charts on the indexes. Last week, it was a nothing week, and then Trump opened his mouth and with tariffs and threatening Tim Apple, as he calls him, and the market just rolled over on Friday. But the dip buyers came in, but now we have an inside day on the NASDAQ here, on the QQQs, on the weekly. And now we're going to go to the SPY. And the SPY broke below the open of the prior week. In the prior week, we had a bounce up because of the Trump trip to the Mideast, where he's doing his AI deals and all that kind of good stuff. But it's a red candle showing there could be some weakness. So what I'm waiting on the 4-hour chart is for an indicator and some news feed to maybe go to the short side. I almost took some trades in the TZA, but I'm kind of waiting until Tuesday to see what happens. Now we're going to go to the Russell. The Russell's the weakest of the indexes. It kind of is looking sad here on the weekly. This red candle, it's lower than the prior week. So the next thing we're looking at is the Dow, the diamonds. It's weak also. So we have the strongest index, the Qs, then the SPY showing a little more weakness, and that's probably due to Apple. Apple's got a big presence in the SPY. And then the Russell, it's all interest rates, and we're probably going to have higher interest rates. I'll get into that in a little bit. Now we're going to go to the transports. And they're showing weakness too. I don't know if this is going to be the beginning of a downtrend here, but you never know, because this is a weird market. It's every time Trump opens his mouth or somebody else in the government, we're going to do this, that, and the other. The market's up, it's down. It's unless you're just sitting there listening to the news feed, it's just really hard to get a trend here and to trade it. So we're now going to go to the daily charts on the indexes. And what we have is, it was really a nothing week, kind of down. But you see that the dip buyers came in on Friday when Trump started talking about more tariffs on the EU and on Tim Apple. Here's the SPY. It's the same thing. We got down, but there's no money to be made, because the first indication of weakness was here on Wednesday, this red candle, and then it ended at 582, and then we ended Friday at 578. You can't make any money trading that. It's just, it was a nothing week. Here's the Russell. You can see the dip buyers came in, it gapped down, and they came in. We'll see what happens, but the weekly's looking kind of weak. Here's the Dow, same thing, a lot of dip buyers. And here's the transports, same thing. And now we're going to go to the 4-hour chart and see how that looks. So we kind of broke down here on Tuesday afternoon, gap down Wednesday on the transports. Here's the Dow, same story. IWM, which is the weakest index, but once it got down, once it kind of showed its hand, there's really no more down movement. Every time it started going down, the dip buyers came in. So if you're trading options like I did, it's just, there's nothing there. It's just a waste of time. The SPY, and here we go with the triple Qs. So something's maybe getting ready to happen. I'm not sure, but we have to wait and see what the news feed is. And all the the tariffs that have been delayed, they're going to start, something's going to start rolling in here. And so you got to keep tuned to the TV and the news feed and see if Trump backs down or if these tariffs really start kicking in. And if they do, it's going to get ugly, folks. It's going to get ugly, but we'll see. Now we're going to go to the TLT. Now the TLT here, I'm going to go to a weekly chart. It's breaking down to lows, the 3-year lows, and I'm going to take this out. And this is a sign that rates are going to maybe keep going up. The Fed will probably step in sometime. I'm not sure when, but we're going to have economic troubles. And see, we haven't been this low in there's 18 years. And so if we start breaking down below 82, you know, rates are going to start creeping up, and if the Fed can't turn it around, it's going to turn into a stampede, and you know, the debt's going to mushroom here with the new tax law that's been passed. So the question is, you know, how bad is it going to get? You know, we're down to like levels back in 06 for the TLT. So interest rates were really low back here, COVID area, all that. Now it's turning around. And so are we going to break down, which it could just be a huge swoosh here, but we'll see. So keep your eye on it, because that's going to be trouble. Now we're going to go to the dollar. And as you can see from the dollar here, let me take this out. This is 07, the middle of the great financial crisis. We got down into the low 70s, and we're getting ready to maybe possibly break the high 90s. The next stop could be the low 90s. And this is inflationary too, because everything that we import will then be purchased by a dollar that's not worth as much. So if we have a 10% correction here in the dollar in the next year or two, that means prices for imports are going up 10%. And then we got tariffs at 10%. And your buying power is going to erode. That's inflationary. And that leads us into gold. And gold is hitting new highs. Imagine that. So I'm waiting to try to get back into the GLD and the nugget trade. You know, nugget is triple levered on the gold miners. We're going here. And, you know, it could have some more 10 or 20% move here. We'll see. We'll see. Here's the GDX. You know, the prior high to that was back up here at 67 or so back in 2010, 2011. And so possible that's where we're going, maybe to break out to new highs, because inflation is coming unless something radically changes. But the new tax law is inflationary. The debt's going to increase. And so we're going to watch a slow train wreck happen here. So this is Trader Steve signing off for the weekend. I'm going to try to throw a TNA trade out to you, showing what a wonderful thing it can be when you get things right, trading options. And have a great weekend. Hope everyone has a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend. This is Trader Steve signing off. Take care.